role of Community Development Corporation in working with the CRAs?
I have not done a lot of CRA work in Tampa or community development or directly worked with Community Development Corporation in Tampa. I've done that sort of thing all around the country. And I think that that where CDCs are successful is where they start to take on the function. First of all, they're fully organized. They have their own corporate status. They're not-for-profits. They have financials, and they run money through them, and they do projects through them. But then also they take on functions like land banks, land banking, or land trusts. They help to preserve property for different uses, sometimes for housing, but maybe sometimes for other things. They have their own physical portfolio of projects that they hold, and they have assets that they manage on behalf of the community in the neighborhood. And so if Tampa's a big enough place, and there's enough resources and interest in community development now for anyone who has not achieved that kind of status to work toward that and live into that level of organization and participation. And to the question of how they work with CRAs is to be a partner in really making sure that the money that comes into the CRAs and flows through them is put to its maximum leverage in things that the CDC might be doing, or in things that are generally public purposes like the infrastructure maintenance and other types of things that you see happening very commonly in the CRA process. I wish I could talk more about that because I love that topic, but that's my short answer for tonight. If you want to talk to me about that, please bring me up.
Thanks, Alan. Well, the next question is kind of in the same vein, so I'm gonna go to the next one by Michael Randolph. He asks next, what is the role of community benefit agreement with developers, government, and community development corporation? He also adds, more as a fact than a question, for our knowledge, which I think is really helpful. The West Tampa CDC is preserving affordable housing by working with both the public and private sector, including developer, lenders, investors, foundations, and corporations. But the question was, what is the role of community benefit agreement with developers, government, and community development corporation?
I think that role is vitally important for very big projects that come along. It's harder to have effective community benefit agreements for smaller things on a case-by-case basis. But for them to succeed, it needs to be established what the rules of the game are, what the boundaries are, what the community really wants to get out of them. Is it economic participation and employment guarantees? Is it community improvements? Is it something else? Committing funds for some sort of trust fund for housing or something like that. So defining what it is you want rather than being reactive, being extremely proactive in defining them and having the community and the city get on the same page, and the CRAs get on the same page about that, about what the desires are and what the possible outcomes are, so that when someone comes around that it seems reasonable to work with them on something like that you already have a game plan. You're not being reactive and trying to figure it out on the fly with someone. You're actually organized in a way to make that happen. And it's rare for it to be. It's difficult. Let me just say that it is rare, but it's also difficult to make those benefit agreements work for you effectively, and still have a development outcome that everyone feels good about. They can drive a lot of tension if you try to slow down the process and not be organized for negotiating what you want.
Thanks, Alan. We just have two more questions.